On Sunday, a jury found Umar Zameer not guilty after a 5-week trial for the first-degree murder of Constable Jeffry Northrup. The fact that Zameer ran over Northrup and caused his death on July 2nd, 2021 was not disputed during the trial. Rather, the case centered on whether Zameer meant to hit Northrup or even knew it happened, and whether he knew Northrup and his partner were police officers. During the trial, court saw video evidence and heard from 2 crash reconstruction experts who contradicted testimony from 3 witness police officers about where Northrup was positioned the time he was hit. The defense alleged the officers repeatedly lied under oath, a claim also echoed by the judge, who warned the jury to watch out for possible collusion. Joining me to talk about the allegations is former Crown attorney and now defense lawyer Michael Coristine. Michael, what role did video play in this trial?
Well, video, as with all forms of technology, is playing an increasingly critical role in all criminal trials. Video evidence in this case was central to giving the jury an unbiased account of what happened specifically, and although the footage was somewhat grainy, video evidence is the only, I guess, so-called witness that will never waver or change its recollection or version of events, and it gives the trier of fact an opportunity to assess the same piece of evidence and as often as they want to view it, which obviously played a big role in the jury's decision as far as what evidence to accept from the witnesses.
There were allegations from the defense of perjury and collusion from the 3 officers who testified. What would the outcome after the trial is done? Could those officers be investigated? What happens possibly next?
Well, I'm certainly aware of those comments, the allegations, if you will. It's a very serious matter, and but it isn't something that just happens overnight. If indeed there is a decision made to investigate or pursue that, first off, any perjury charge, if that is deemed appropriate, will typically come from very high up in the Crown Attorney's office, and that would be after a thorough review of all the evidence. Collusion and perjury are not necessarily the same thing. Collusion is very simply where the reliability of the witnesses or their credibility could be affected by having conferred with one another, and that can be inadvertent, it could be intentional, whereas perjury is obviously a much more serious criminal offense for intentionally misleading the court by giving dishonest evidence. And that's something that I'm sure that the police standards unit and the Crown Attorney's office, as they would with any allegation, will look into that, and the decision will come from much higher up if indeed it's warranted.
What's the outcome of all of this, the after effect? Do you think that the public's confidence in the police has been shaken at all by this trial?
Well, this was obviously a very high-profile case and very tragic circumstances, but I don't think it's fair to say that the public confidence in policing should be affected just on this trial alone. Number one, there hasn't been an official finding of fact that the police did in fact lie on the stand. I know that's certainly the perception. It may very well be the case. But overall, it's important to focus on the sheer volume of criminal trials in the system, the vast number of Toronto police officers who do a highly respectable, incredibly difficult job that testify in courtrooms all across the province on a daily basis in cases that we don't hear about. So I think it would be really unfortunate to paint the police service with a broad brush. And I say that while appreciating certainly there are some questions that need to be answered here as to how perhaps evidence given under oath at a very serious murder trial was seemingly contradicted substantially by both expert reports and video evidence. I share the public's concern in that regard.
Michael, thank you so much for your time today.
Okay, thank you very much.